Hugel's distinctive Latin Afro House sound couldn't be missed over the past summer. Whether it was in clubs or in the biggest dance music playlists on Spotify, his tracks were really blowing up. It's a style that combines Latin and Afro elements into something super poppy and energetic, which is also the reason that it's so accessible for listeners around the globe. Today we are remixing a Spanish classic from Bizarrap called Quevedo, if I pronounce that well. We are going to turn that one into a Latin Afro House track in the style of Hugel. When I heard the track, I immediately thought of this specific style and vibe, so I thought let's just make a video about it and show you guys how to make a remix in this style. Without further ado, let's now dive straight into the video. Okay, so first of all, this is the original sound.
Llega al club con el combo, rápido la vi lejos, se pintaban los labios y la copa como espejo.
And it's super energetic, catchy. I think it is one of the most popular club tunes of the past years in Spanish-speaking countries. So it's definitely something cool to work with.
Fuimos en una, empezamos a la una, y con la nota rápido nos dieron las tres.
So from here, in order to make the remix, we want to split it into stems. In this case, I'm fine with just playing the vocal and the instrumental. And for this, I am using a really cool tool, which is called MVSAP MDX23 Collab Fork, which is a stem splitting model that you can run inside of Google Colab. And it looks quite complex, but it is not, since you just have to run the installation, connect your Google Drive, and then you can run the model already. The reason why I'm not using the built-in FL Studio stem splitter is because I really notice a big difference in quality between that one and this one. And it's completely free. I will leave a link in the description so you can mess around with it yourself, since this one has multiple models, a lot of parameters that you can tweak. So I would just really recommend to just play around with it a little bit, and then you can see it for yourself. So far, everyone I have recommended this to is really amazed by the quality and started using it right away. Especially the vocal extraction is really superior for this model. So here's the vocal part of the track.
Llega al club con el combo, rápido la vi lejos, se pintaban los labios y la copa como espejo.
Like, it perfectly does a full vocal without having these weird 4-month shifts that you sometimes notice in other models. And the model even does the backing vocals almost perfectly. And this just makes it really usable for a remix. Considering we have the stems now, we can extract the chords and bass line from the instrumental with another tool. There are multiple tools that you can use for this, so you can just go on to the internet and search for something like instrumental to MIDI. But for me, the one in Ableton works the best. So I'm going to switch between FL Studio and Ableton for this. And in Ableton, it's really straightforward, since you just drag in the audio clip and then you select convert harmony to new MIDI track. In this case, I cleaned it up a little bit because there were some random notes in the high area, but for the rest, it picked up the chords really well. So I just quantized them and I got these chords. So since the video is in FL Studio, I exported it right here, export MIDI clip, and then you can just directly load it into FL Studio. Next, I loaded these chords into the Piano V3 plugin from Arturia and chose this Jazz Upright Clean preset. And I brought down the brightness a little bit, so you have a bit less frequencies in your high area.
Con el combo, rápido la vi lejos, se pintaban los labios y la copa como espejo. Se acercó poco a poco y yo queriendo que me baile. Luego me dijo, vamos que te enseño buenos aires.
So using these different tools I just showed you, it pretty much gets a really straightforward process. And considering you have the vocal and the full chords now for a remix like this, it genuinely gets pretty easy. So I added these Rhodes too, something that I heard in some of his tracks. And then together that sounds pretty nice. When you look at the chords, you immediately see that you already also have the bass line, which is this. So you can just simply copy this into a bass preset. In this case, I'm going for a really subby fat bass, as that's something that I heard in this style. So it's this preset called Bass Depth from our Tantra pack, which is just really heavily filtered with a Uno wavetable pitched down 2 octaves, and then this custom wavetable which gives it a little bit more width, and then there's a little distortion on the highs. And it just sounds really full and fat. And for the mixing part, I just added some sidechain.
Te pintaba los labios y la copa como espejo. Se acercó poco a poco y yo queriendo que me baile.
These little glides create some more energy, so just 1 octave higher. Next, I'm adding this sequence, which is more of a tom kind of sequence, which is also from our Tantra pack. And it's basically an 808 tom playing quite high together with an analog BD sign, which gives this really nice groovy sequence. And since the track itself was in E, just playing 1 note to get that kind of Afro vibe. I really think the chord progression of the original is really strong, so I really like it. Next, I want to add some more toms and a kick and some congas. And I feel like these congas really contribute to it being more of that Latin poppy style. Quite full sounding congas, since they almost cover the whole spectrum, except I deleted some of the low end. Next is another really essential part that really fills up the drop, otherwise it would kind of sound a little bit empty, which is this layer of an acoustic head loop together with a big sounding tom. And that just adds so much drive and power to the drop. Then lastly, some more elements like organic percussion loops, some claves, shaker loops, texture loops to really fill up the whole drop. I want to get rid of this since that would clash a little bit with the other elements we added. So we basically are just going to use the vocal and the same chord progression, but in some different elements.
El club con el combo, rápido, largo y lejos. Se pintaba los labios y la copa como espejo.
And now let's move on to the full arrangement, so I can show you something more about the thought process of using the original and then kind of arranging it in a way that it's more suitable to the genre. So first of all, I added some ambience, an atmosphere in key, and then a bird's ambience. So you basically start instrumental, so you introduce them to the chords, add the bass. I already have the drive of the conga loop going on from the beginning, slowly introducing the other elements. And then in the 2 little build-up parts, I did add back the instrumental, because I felt like there was some room for it there, but not really in the drop itself. Basically, it's just the stuff we already made. The vocal is already really strong, so that fills up a lot of the space. And then there's one automation that's interesting to show, which is this one. So we have the big sounding toms and acoustic head loop a little bit filtered in the first drop. And then in the second drop they open up. So you kind of play a little bit with the filter just to shift the energy towards the last drop. I I wanted this video to be short and effective, so I'm now going to play the end result. There will be a link in the description to download the full project, so you can just check it out yourself and get some of the samples. And for now, let me play the end result. All of the sounds in this video were from the Tantra pack, which you can check out in the link in the description. It contains loops, presets, vocals and much more. So make sure to check that out if you're into this style. If you have any questions or suggestions, make sure to leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.